Sorry?
Established the map. Yeah, sit on the walk and sit on the map.
Oh, right, just anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Donk Malwell Nyarnyek Belinda Duarte. Doggy Dog, thank you for joining us for this morning's Survival Day. Survival Day dawn ceremony here for the 5th time in a row. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the unceded lands of the Wadawurrung and pay our deepest respect, my deepest respect, to their elders, past, present and emerging. I would like to acknowledge that we have Uncle Bert Fagan and and Bonnie too. She's an auntie to many. As Wadawurrung here at the centre of the smoking ceremony, there's a beautiful way to anchor us in the survival of First Nations people here in this country on January 26. Could I ask, before we progress into the ceremony, is that if there is any spare seats, that we allow our elders to make sure that they grab a seat and can move forward. There is mats up the front, so anyone that would like to move in closer, grab a seat on the mats. We have our wonderful Auslan interpreter here in Tracy Steiner, so thanks for joining us, Tracy. And as a Watchabalak Djadjarong woman, it's a pleasure for me to be here hosting the ceremony this morning and to continue to see the crowds grow each year. I want to acknowledge the Ballarat community and surrounding district. We know that here in Ballarat on country, the support over the years has led regional ceremonies like this and continues to inspire people to think about their role and their contribution to supporting First Nations people on a day like January 26. So as we come and gather up together to share the stories of the oldest living culture in the world and the impact of colonisation on our families and communities and our collective country, the organising committee would like to express their gratitude for your solidarity and taking that stand with us. A few items to consider with the housekeeping of this morning. There are first aid attendants on site, and I believe they're to your right. Also over to your right is the media table as well. If people are or not interested in being interviewed, please flag with the media table, but particularly those that are being interviewed, could you ensure that you are at that table and available for the media to take time to hear your experience. If you need any assistance, there's people with high-vis vests on. Make sure you go to them, and they're at the information table over, and you can see them in the reflection of the darkness to your right. There's stickers available from the people with the high-vis vests. If you do not want your photos taken and don't give that consent, please ensure that you get one of those. The generosity of the spirit of the Wadawurrung have invited us to take part in the smoking ceremony after the proceedings today. So I encourage everybody to make sure that you take that moment to encase yourself in the smoke of this country. On that note, as a significant day following a significant year, I personally want to express and acknowledge the impact of 2023 for First Nations people across the country. where's the cost? In the costs and stresses, what has also happened is that we have lost, again, some of our nearest and dearest, and this community have well and truly felt those losses, not over the last 12 months, but over the decades and generations that this country has been shared. So I could ask for those that can stand to stand for a minute's silence to acknowledge those of our families, of our communities, and of our nation that have passed. Thank you. To open this morning's Savile Day Dawn ceremony, to dance the dance of country, of Wadawurrung Country, and the ancestors of Wadawurrung Jar. We have Tristan, Zane on Yidaki, and the Ballarat community dancers. I will hand it over to Tristan for this important dance that will be led by Wadawurrung Baga, Michaela Johnson. It's called Awakening Ancestor and Cleansing the Space to Dance. Okie doke. Thank you for that. What a grounding opening for the significance of today, and when our people of country call to the spirits and speak to the land, the animals. Not sure whether those people out there notice, but our birds here on Wadawurrung Country were connecting with all of that, so thank you. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Uncle Al Harris. Uncle Al has got some extraordinary words to share with you. Noongar man who I'd like you to warmly welcome. Thank you, Uncle Al.
Good morning. Thank you, Belinda. I reckon we should give them a round of applause, yeah? They did a great job. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. I extend my sincere gratitude to these dancers, fantastic, who honoured us with their performance. Thanks, guys. Showcasing their talents at this early hour reflects a profound dedication to preserving and promoting their cultural heritage. Well done. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you. It's cold out here. My name is Alan Harris. I bring special greetings from my father's people, the Bibbulmun clan of the Noongar Nation at Margaret River, along with my mother's tribe, the Ngarrindjara people of the Western Desert region. Ladies and gentlemen, it's truly heartening to witness the remarkable turnout this morning. We've just got, I don't know if anybody here lives in Brown Hill, but our electricity went off this morning at about 4:05 for an hour. Thank you very much to the power company. We paid the bill, don't worry. I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land that we stand on today and pay respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Australia, whether one acknowledges it as Survival Day, Invasion Day, or by any other personal reference, continues to evoke diverse emotions across our nation. Indigenous Australians, in particular, grapple with uncertain sentiments, contemplating whether to commemorate or abstain from marking this day. The intricacies of our nation and our national narrative deserves thoughtful reflection as we navigate through these complex sentiments. Do we or don't we? On this particular day, precisely 236 years ago, the course of this nation was charted in the dark shadows of genocide, underpinned by the misguided belief that the original inhabitants were somehow inferior or a lesser people. This narrative of inequality permeates our cultural fabric, weaving throughout literature, films and drama. We have struggled for recognition in a society that would not accept our race as equal, and especially as equal citizens, until the late 1967 referendum. So from an Indigenous point of view, the question is, do we as a small Indigenous community within this larger societal framework command the respect that is rightfully ours? Sadly, the answer to that question is no. Respecting Australia's First Peoples involves recognising the rich history, cultural diversity and contributions. In Ballarat, we are fortunate to be blessed with two pivotal and noteworthy organisations working towards a common goal: the promotion of a healthy cultural lifestyle in our city. These organisations have pursued their efforts in a collaborative initiative to provide the community with an unparalleled support and excellence. Established in 1979, the Ballarat and District Aboriginal Cooperative, or BADAC, delivers health, social, welfare and community programs, while the Wadawurrung Traditional Owners Aboriginal Corporation oversees cultural needs and heritage values. Aboriginal people contribute significantly across various professions, from doctors and lawyers to teachers and tradespeople. I'd like to point out Indigenous women have persistently refused the role of submissive victims in the face of colonisation's atrocities and the subsequent denial of personal freedoms under protective policies. Aboriginal women are emerging as trailblazers, achieving notable success in challenging realms such as combating domestic violence, promoting school attendances, and employing traditional methods to address community health and welfare objectives. Their resilience and commitment exemplify a profound determination to shape a brighter and more empowered future. As an Indigenous elder, I celebrate our ongoing pursuit of change and marvel at the transformations that we've achieved. Yes, we have come so far, and yet the journey ahead remains extensive. My affection for this country runs deep, embodying the love my ancestors have held for over 125,000 years. Most non-Indigenous Australians have a strong sense of pride for this country. Even after John Farnham gave us the use of his voice, and remains for us to be heard. Even with the voice, what I've noticed about Australia at that period of time, Australians love Australia, but they didn't realise the damage that it was going to do to our people. It gave us sorrow again, and we have to rise above that. And I guess what remains for us is to heed that timeless proverb: action speaks louder than words. As a teacher, if I have nothing to say, how can I teach? As a teacher, if I'm not given a voice, how can people learn? Building a resilient and united community necessitates the active engagement of every member. Our collective dedication to diversity should echo as the anthem reverberating through the core of our nation, shaping a shared identity that honours and celebrates our diverse heritage. To create a positive future, we must provide positive action, and that begins with a positive vision. Thank you very much.
Uncle Al, thank you so much. What a insightful reminder of what our people have travelled. Inspiring and a profound reminder for all of us here today, some of which we have the lived experience of, and others who've come here in support of understanding that. And as a reminder to reflect upon what each of your role will be moving forward. We have another dance from the Ballarat community dancers that have joined us here today. I'm really looking forward to this because seeing young men and young women children, our buboops out there dancing, please put your hands together for the Ballarat community dancers. Well done, you young fellas, that was deadly. Deadly job, wasn't that deadly? And bring joy into places. The next speaker needs no introduction for our people. An extraordinary leader, a valued elder, an inspiration and a carer for many. Uncle Andrew Jacamos, PSM, please come to the stage. Thank you, Uncle.
Good morning, everyone, and take a deep breath, listen to the birds, smell the crisp morning air. Crisp. Smells and sounds are good, hey? We must be on Wadawurrung Country with our people, friends and allies. Thank you, Belinda, for your very kind words, and thank you to Uncle Bert and Bonnie for your generosity, allowing us to participate in the smoking ceremony later this morning. Thank you, Uncle Al, for your very powerful words. To our Yadaki players and the dancers, it's a privilege to be part of the ceremony this morning. I'm proud, Yorta Yorta Gundich Mara man, brother, father, grandfather, uncle and cuz. And a big thank you to the Ballarat Koorie Engagement Action Group for the kind invitation to be part of this morning's solemn ceremony. It's a great honour and privilege to be here. To our many Wadawurrung friends and hosts, I acknowledge your elders, past and present, as I do your unbroken connection to country, to the land, waters and sky, and your own heroic history of survival. Whether you're on Wadawurrung Country here in Ballarat or on Wadawurrung Country in Werribee where I live, we proudly walk together on unceded lands. Lands and waterways that have always been part of the Wadawurrung dreaming from the commencement of time and forming of the landscape. I also acknowledge elders and members here from the local Aboriginal community. Together in unity, our aspirations and voices grow stronger every passing year. I acknowledge all the good people with us today. You wouldn't be here unless you're good. Regardless of where you and your ancestors come from, we cannot do this without you, our friends and allies. We walk together. I give my utmost respect and condolences to those here this morning and in the community who are suffering sorry business. Your grief and suffering impacts on all of us. Sadly, we as a people are cursed by ever-present sorry business, particularly of our children, our young people and our elders. These are scars not just on the landscape, but also on our collective memories. Today we come together to not only acknowledge the impact of invasion and our ongoing survival, but for me, more so to celebrate the strength of our community, the strength of our children, families and culture. Children, you see, strong in culture. Survival is not just about standing still, but constantly moving forward, adapting to the environment and growing stronger with every new generation. What gives me strength and optimism is seeing our children and young people proudly learning the ways of our old people, proudly acknowledging who their mob are, where is their country, who is their kin and clan, learning and speaking our traditional languages. The failure of the referendum to get up was a wasted opportunity to move our country forward, to put us on a path to make this a better country. Sadly, the majority of our fellow citizens voted to keep the status quo, one unfortunately in a state of continued blissful ignorance. We didn't cede land upon invasion. We didn't walk away from our culture and customs when we were pushed from our country onto missions and reserves. We are not going away. Always was, always will be. It's so cold up here I can't separate the pages. It must be lovely here in summer. I do have faith in the work of the Rook Justice Commission, but like treaties, we are just at the start of the journey and we're still to hear of the government's response to the Commission's recommendations. I'm optimistic because our communities continue to grow strong in culture, strong in language and strong in families, but we have much work to do to ensure that we do not leave anyone behind, for there are many. Increasingly, our children and young people are excelling in education, the professions and the trades, as Uncle Al's reminded us. But there's so much more that needs to be done. I'm fortunate to have had the past opportunity to work for community in the areas of justice and children's rights. One of the things that became overly apparent to me while serving as Commissioner for Aboriginal Children was the spread and impact of vicarious trauma on our community. How the impact of invasion and colonialism has been passed down through generations and is playing out in families. But we cannot let it define us as a people, and restricting the community must move forward. Today is a day of reflection of what was and what could have been. The memories of those past and massacred can never be forgotten. We never, ever will ever let it be forgotten. I'm honoured to have recently commenced as one of the 5 treaty authority members, whose role is to support the negotiations of statewide and local traditional owner treaties. Treaties are not just about survival, they're about recognition of being First Peoples and right and wrongs of the past so that they never happen again. Treaties with First People is very much about self-determination and putting our destiny in our hands. Treaties are about moving forward together. Treaties are about the broader Australian community reconciling their past with us as First Australians. I remain internally optimistic. I don't believe we have a choice not to be. Once again, thank you all to made it possible, particularly the Koorie Engagement Action Group. Thank you all for being here this morning.
Uncle Andrew Jacomos, thank you. All the best with the treaty process and the treaties that will occur in this state. And as a born and raised Ballarat girl, I'm very proud that this state will honour that commitment and continue to progress that process. Our next speaker, I'm proud to say Jara woman Mel Peters, an extraordinary, dynamic, staunch First Nations woman, one of which is Wadawurrung and a number of other nations. I'll hand you over to Mel Peters together with her daughter and niece to share in a powerful speech. Bridie and Georgina are going to join Mel for this next powerful and deep reflective speech. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Wawa, hello. I'm Mel Peters, a proud Yorta, Djadjawurrung, Nurilimurrung, Wamba Wamba, Wadi Wadi woman with Polish heritage. It's a mouthful. I am a mother of 5 strong and proud individuals. I was born on the lands of the Wadawurrung peoples and lived most of my life on Wadawurrung Country, moving back to Wadawurrung 10 years ago. I know who I am, I know where I belong, I come from the oldest living cultural belief system, and I feel the spirits of my ancestors run through my blood. I respectfully honour the Wadawurrung people who have nurtured these lands and waters for thousands of years and convey my gratitude to their elders, past and present, for taking care of this beautiful country. I pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present today. And I give thanks to all of you gathered here at Lake Wendouree on this beautiful morning. And it is, although cold, it is a beautiful morning to speak on behalf of our mob who were and continue to be so tragically taken throughout dark times in our shared history. We will speak of 20 massacres that took place in Victoria from 1834 to 1848. Now be aware this is only a small portion of the massacres that occurred against our people since invasion. We must remember that these recordings may not be a true reflection of what truly happened in those dark days. We are people who share through language and stories, and unfortunately we were forced to stop sharing via archaic and inhumane policies. Our truths may never truly be spoken. One of my totems is Wa the Crow, through my great-great-great-grandfather Charles Tatambo, Narangita of the Gunung Willem clan of the Nurray Ilum. He was born sometime between 1788 and 1798. And it hurts me to think of what he lived through, seeing his beautiful, peaceful country turn into a place where no Aboriginal person was safe. He crossed into the Dreaming in 1866, having witnessed these atrocities being forcibly removed from his country and placed on foreign country. Today marks the 236th anniversary of the day Australia's land was stolen from its Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples without compensation, without treaty. As we speak, please take in every word and feel the pain that is carried by all of us, and consider why we acknowledge and must never celebrate this day. This is a day of mourning.
March 1834. Convincing ground. North of Alice Street in Portland Bay, a group of whalers massacred 20 Aboriginal people over claims to a beached whale.
Mount Dispersion. Along Dungala, Major Mitchell, believing an Aboriginal mob following close behind were going to ambush them. They ambushed the Aboriginal mob, killing around 30, perhaps one entire family. Major Mitchell's party continued their way without a second thought.
1839, Restdown Plains Station, Campaspe River, reprisal for a man killed and sheep stolen. A whole mob from Djadjawurrung shot except for one woman and a child, 40 killed. The incident was reviewed by Parker. He stated, "It was a deliberately planned, illegal reprisal on the Aborigines, on principles advocated by many persons in the colony, that when an offence is committed by unknown individuals, the tribe of which they belong should be made to suffer for it.
Mount Emu Creek. This massacre was organised in retaliation for the killing of some sheep by 2 Aboriginals at Glen Morrison Station near Lake Wendouree. In a dawn raid, around 35 were killed.
1840. Fighting Hills Massacre. Death tolls as high as 80. These were carried out by the White Brothers. Fighting Hills Massacre. Fighting Waterholes. The White Brothers are responsible for 69 deaths. 11th of June 1840. Mount Rouse, 20 killed.
1840. Victoria Valley 13, Jabberung, gone. The reasoning behind the killings was self-defence, as previously members of the tribe had killed their livestock.
1841. Butchers Creek, Gippsland, in reprisal for Koorie spearing cattle, around 30 slaughtered.
1842. King River, above Oxley Plains, Wangaratta. According to James Howard, a shepherd at the time, when the blacks played sad havoc with faithful's cattle and sheep, whereupon the stockmen, shepherds and hut keepers turned out, mounted and armed, to the number of about 18, fell upon the blacks on the bank of the King above Oxley and massacred them. About 200 were killed on the spot, and others were pursued miles up the river until all, with 1 or 2 exceptions, were exterminated. 1843, Warrigal Creek Waterhole, Warrigal Creek Mouth, Freshwater Creek and Gammon Creek, Gippsland. In reprisal for a settler being killed, a Highland Scots Brigade was formed and sworn to secrecy. Willie Hodnott recalls, the brigade coming up to the blacks camped around the waterhole at Warrigal Creek, surrounded them and fired into them, killing a great number. Some escaped into the scrub, others jumped into the waterhole, and as fast as they put their heads up for breath, they were shot until the water was red with blood. The Highland Scots Brigade went on a rampage through the district, possibly over 5 days, killing Koorie people at 4 different locations. Warrigal Creek Waterhole, at the mouth of the Warrigal Creek where it empties into Smith Lake, Freshwater Creek and Gammon Creek. In all, about 150 Koorie were murdered. Human remains have been located at each of these sites on several occasions.
6th of August 1843. Victoria arranged for reprisal of 180 sheep being driven off a station. Captain Dana and 7 native police followed the group of men. Dana's troop fired simultaneously upon them 4 or 5 times, 7 or 8 of whom were shot dead on the spot and many wounded. The remainder retreated to the scrub, and is supposed about 20 of their number had been shot in the affray.
1843. Moira Swamp, a group of 20 police set off on horses to investigate the death of 2 employees at Calma Station. 1 police member was Dana. This ended in 20 men, 1 woman, and 5 children shot. An inquiry was established, and Dana was charged with murder. Unfortunately, Dana was exonerated. 1846. Junction of Murray and Murrumbidgee rivers to clear the area of Aboriginal people for a pastoral station for William Ross. 70 to 80 Aboriginal men were trapped on both sides of the Murray River, all shot.
1846. Snowy River. At least 50 were killed.
1847. Mount Napier, in reprisal for the killing of a shepherd at Allen Station near Mount Napier. A hunting party of colonists was formed. A surprise attack was launched on a camp of Aboriginal people at Mount Napier, killing more than 30 people and sparing not even babies. Dr. John Watton, the medical officer in charge of Mount Rouse Aboriginal Station, said that the party acted under a magistrate's warrant, and they say they fired in self-defence. 1848, Beveridge Island. Mr. Beveridge had settled the blacks by leaving a quantity of poison flower in their way, and that number had been killed by exact numbers unknown. We must never forget. To Mel, to Bridie, and to Georgina, thank you for taking us through the truth of those 20 massacres, and thank you for the courage to actually speak that truth today's ceremony. Acknowledging how important it is to never forget our history and who we are of, both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people, is critical to our healing, and truth-telling, emotive truth-telling, creating safe spaces to speak to truth is so important. So as you let those words wash over you and the experiences for people in this audience that have direct connection through their mob of those experiences, and if they were not told, there is so many that have, direct family history of losing members through massacres. Our next two special speakers are Deb Llewellyn-Clark and Mercy Clark, Mirren Torres Strait Islander women, big woman and little woman. Deb and Mercy will sing a song, Baba Wayne. It is a blessing song in the language of the Torres Strait, called by many as Zendith Kes. This song speaks to being safe through the night until morning comes. A blessing for the day ahead. May you all walk safely as the day begins, and it's perfect timing as dawn breaks. Please enjoy this blessing from our beautiful Torres Strait Islander women.
David and Marim, good morning to you all. Kela Nakwe. Kan nakamelum ka nekep mirim. Nole aka taprik. Nole aka taprik. Nole aka taprik. Kela nakwe. Never forget and stand strong.
Baba Waya.
Inukubilnu, Inukubilnu, Kurusika Kaiga. Inukubilnu, Inukubilnu, Kurusika Kaiga.
That was beautiful. Thanks so much. Such a beautiful way to close today's ceremony. As we reflect on what January 26 means to each of us, can I take a moment to acknowledge the people that have been able to bring today's ceremony together for us. Thank Wadawurrung Elder here with Uncle Bert and Bonnie to host us on your country. Thank you. It's a day that many of us would not feel like coming out of our beds at this time of the morning, and the generosity of you to host us on country, and many other countries around this nation are doing the same in a very special way. It reminds me again of the generosity of our people, their grace and their willingness to share the oldest living culture in the world to those that live and reside as custodians on this country. To the Koorie Engagement Action Group, past and current ones who have brought you 5 of these ceremonies. The Survival Day Dawn Ceremony, again, I've said this earlier, it was birthed regionally for the first time in this country here on Wadawurrung Country. Well done to the committee. Yeah, please put your hands together for the action group. A reminder to make sure that you are at the media table at the end for photos. To the City of Ballarat councillors that have joined us here today, thank you. Again, there is a number of fierce supporters and allies that have constantly and consistently, not only when the camera's on, but when it's off and those hard conversations are had. Thank you for your support. This event, the working group members, I want to acknowledge Michaela Johnson that you saw earlier. Michaela down here, thank you. Thank you for leading those young women. Thanks. As Wadawurrung, Mel Peters, Deb beautifully sung just before, Deb Loire Clark, Adina King, beautiful Nikki Foy, who's been a staunch support throughout the 5 years, Sarah Jane Hall, and to Luke Bosworth, thank you so much. It's a voluntary contribution to making this happen, and without good, generous people, we wouldn't be here today. To the Ballarat Allies, Ange Elson, Jodie Downey, your families, and all of the amazing volunteers supporting the Dawn ceremony this morning, and the activities that will occur here later today. The Director of Wellbeing, Matt Wilson, and all of the reconciliation and social inclusion officers who have supported the Koorie Engagement Action Group with Ballarat's Survival Day planning. Thank you to them. Uncle Andrew Jacomos and Uncle Al Harris, for speaking to you and your families. And I haven't forgotten the beautiful Yadaki players and Tristan down the front, to Tristan and Zane for opening, for sharing and for closing today. Deadly job. And the Yarnbuck staff who have volunteered their time as traffic safety officers, thank you for your support to the event. I do want to pause to acknowledge the elders that have come here today, and the elders that couldn't make it today. For the Ballarat region, You have been long-standing anchors and advocates for our people, and may you be held close by your families, and may each of you today really do what is right from a social emotional wellbeing perspective. Some of us want to go to other ceremonies. For me, I'll be hitting the highway and joining the Western Bulldogs at the march. Share the Spirit concert a little bit later on. There's activities for here locally so that you can feel safe. Others feel safer being at home and being with their loved ones. I just want to acknowledge what the impact is. Again, because when we feel it, we heal it. And to all of you here today, look after one another. Thank you to those community members who have come to support us in this process of healing and inspiring the nation to feel extraordinarily proud of its history, in its defiance, in its resilience, in the truth of everything that we've heard today. The cultural strengthening practices that have occurred on this country were evident with our young people. A shout out to our young people in the ceremony today. Well done. I'm really proud to watch that. And may the spirits watch over each of us and remind us that our morup, our spirits, will stay strong. Be safe. Dolky dolk. Thank you. Thanks, Trace. A reminder to the smoking ceremony, please join Wadawurrung with that. Sorry. I jumped in, I didn't ever tell you that, did I?
So bloody cold. I am so bloody cold.
Deadly job. Very quickly, there's an invitation, as has historically been with this ceremony, to do the the kangaroo skin anoka to close off. Again, join in the smoking ceremony, but do not forget to the right of the stage or your left that we will be hosting the kangaroo skin print. Hines, thank you.
During this smoking ceremony, can we please have the elders, after the performers go through first? Thank you.